Any better? Let me know, please. I turned it on, so it should be on here. Good? All right. See, we pivot, man. We just needed a quick little pivot. You know, it's no big deal. All right, let me just retweet this, and then hopefully people will join back here. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's a Rumble issue. It's not a Mando issue here, unfortunately. All right, so let's come back over here and do this. Beautiful. Okay. All right, we'll give it a bit muffled. This is the best you're gonna get, unfortunately. I lowered the mic sound a little bit. How's that? We just got to trial and error here, but we'll get rolling. All right. Once we get rolling, we're gonna be fine. Okay. All right. Didn't expect to be back on YouTube, but shout out to you, Rumble. All right. Well, you know what? We are we're gonna roll with it right now. Okay, one more time. Boom, boom. All right. So, as I was saying, no, I'm just kidding. All right, we'll bring it back, and I'm really gonna have to start from the top. I will hopefully make this quick. So first things first. We got to look at the economic data for this upcoming week. And as I said, I'm not concerned at all by what the actual data is, but I am concerned with the time, okay? Reason why I'm not concerned with the data, just look at today's price action. You had 8:30 data. We dumped until, close to lunchtime. And then what happened? They all just changed their minds, and they decided, oh, actually, this is good data. We're going to go up on it. To me, it's just bogus. It's a way to completely throw you off your game and think you need to rely on something that, in fact, you do not, okay? So nothing is on Monday in terms of economic data. 10 a.m. on Tuesday, we have JOLTS job openings. Wednesday, we have CPI at 8:30 a.m. Thursday, we have core PPI. That is also at 8:30 a.m. And then on Friday, we have 10 a.m. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. And before I got cut off in the last one, I said, finally, they throw a red folder next to that data, because that data does tend to bring some volatility, okay? They have these folders labeled from yellow to red, yellow, orange, red, and red obviously being the highest impact data drivers, yellow being the least. So those are our high impact data drivers for this week, okay? Now, I can turn the volume up now. Okay, this should be better. Just bear with me. I had to go through OBS into YouTube, whereas if I just do Rumble Studio, it's so easy to do it that way. But that's all right. We'll make do with what we got here. Okay. So next up, I'm gonna see if I can turn it up a little bit on this side of things. Okay. All right. So now let's flip on over here. Come back over. Again, we went through both or really all four indices in terms of their monthly setup. Now here, if you were to look from a NASDAQ perspective, the number that I had tweeted, the number I had posted in my channel on Discord was the 19,818. As you could see, price swept through that 19,818 and beautifully responded, okay? We do have a bullish volume imbalance here. And one thing that I'm really liking is that we're finally seemingly getting back on track in terms of fluidity between NASDAQ and the S&P. Okay, for a long time there, really since the end of November, we'd had one take out a low, the other one didn't take out the low. We'd have one take out a high, the other didn't take out a high. That creates a mess, okay? So as we come on over here to ES, you will also notice that price did sweep previous quarter's low, and we got into a monthly bullish imbalance. Very encouraging. Let's come on over to the monthly. You will notice that our monthly looks disgusting right here on NASDAQ, but the wicks give you the heart attack. The bodies can tell you the story. We can very well close this back up inside 20,788 to close out this month over the next 23 days, and all is forgotten, okay? Very similar to what we saw here in August of last year. Low wick, ultimately ripped back up. Wicks give you the heart attack. Bodies are telling you the story, okay? Very similarly, we come on over here to the S&P. We get down into a monthly bullish imbalance. Very encouraging. Also sweeping a couple lows in the process. The biggest takeaway from both of these from a monthly perspective is that we have yet to form a monthly bearish fair value gap to the downside, okay? Every time that we've had any sort of quote-unquote bear market or crash, we have formed some sort of bearish imbalance. And in this case, we have yet to form that bearish fair value gap here, okay? The bearish fair value gap from our most recent bear market was back in 2021 into 2020, or I'm sorry, 2022. There's your retracement into it. There's your flushy, okay? So we have yet to do that quite yet. Is that something that's in the cards? I don't favor that. I actually think the lows are just about in. There's one level on ES that I'll show you guys, but I think we're ready to start to make some progress back to the upside here. Maybe that's just me, but I'll give you my thesis anyways. And we'll scroll over to the other indices as well. But here's Russell. Russell got our discount retracement, okay, down through 50%, swept the previous monthly low, and responded nicely off of that level thus far, okay? And then you come on over into Dow, and you will notice Dow is really the only one that did not sweep, okay? A couple months ago, Dow did get into a monthly imbalance and, you know, bounce from that point, actually setting a new high. But now is where it's time. I got to dive deeper. I got to start looking into smaller time frame levels without the whole, you know, puzzle here. If I'm missing pieces of the puzzle, if I'm missing certain looks from certain time frames, I need to, you know, I without that piece, I can't complete this puzzle. I need to paint the best picture I can, and if I'm missing pieces or if I'm missing paint color, I'm in trouble. Okay. So from a weekly perspective, you will notice that price got down into our showtime imbalance. I have this labeled as showtime is because if we were to fail this imbalance, I believe that we will get a much more substantial retracement deeper into discount and honestly probably your monthly discount here, which is scary, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, I drew this path 2 weeks ago. So far, so good. Now we've created a weekly bearish fair value gap. The only reason why I'm not anticipating this weekly bearish fair value gap to offer much more than just a speed bump in this scenario is due to the fact that we have gotten into discount of this bullish price run dating from September lows up to your highs set in December. Okay, here's your discount retracement. Here's your bullish imbalance. So from this point, I do believe we will start to make progress higher. Okay, this imbalance isn't just going to, you know, go away. This to me is going to act as a speed bump and slow price down. Okay, but ultimately from this point, sweeping all of these relative equal lows in addition to these, also getting into this imbalance, this is really the spot to do it. Okay, let's scooch over to our weekly on the S&P, and you'll notice very similarly, you have your September lows up to your highs set in December. Here's your discount retracement, finally sweeping multiple relative equal lows. And in addition to that, SPY also had that quarterly and monthly bullish imbalance. So far, so good. Again, you did create a bearish imbalance here on SPY as well, okay? But ultimately, from this point, my expectation is that price is going to start to make upwards motion from here, okay? Come on over to Russell. And again, I said this in the stream that got cut off, but very similarly, Russell to me is not the cleanest of the indices right now, okay? Yes, we swept a low down here in discount of the range, and we responded nicely to it, but ultimately this to me is not the best setup in correlation to the other indices, okay? And then you come on down to Dow, and Dow's the only one that didn't sweep that low, okay? Did it necessarily have to? No, not necessarily, but I would have felt even better about things if we were to sweep that as well. Now here's where things get a little funky, and here's that one level where I'm like, I'm not feeling so hot about this. It's just one, and I'm going to show you on ES here from a daily perspective, okay? First, let's go to NASDAQ. So from your highs on NASDAQ in February down to your low that we just painted here today, okay, we have yet to form an imbalance to the upside to suggest price is going to come into discount of this range, okay? Until that happens, are you essentially catching a falling knife? There's a possibility of it, okay? The most, convincing staple and price that could be painted here would be for a bullish imbalance to form to the upside, okay? If a bullish imbalance paints to the upside, for example, that to me is an indication that price is likely to start making its way up into discount of this currently bearish daily price run, okay? Now, when that happens, I'm not anticipating much from that 50% mark. Why? We've already filled this imbalance, okay? The next untouched imbalance is where I have Showtime labeled, which is a bearish imbalance in discount of a bearish range, okay? And from this point, this is make or break. Let's just look at the number here. That gets you up to 652. Where was that weekly imbalance? 652. Ding dong. Okay, right here. Lines up right with our weekly imbalance. Okay, so this is Showtime. In this area, this is a point where I'm kind of looking from a hands-off perspective, if you will, right? I'm not really looking to do much of anything. Inside that area, I will let price dictate what comes next for me at that given point, okay? So let's see. Question. We've only had 2 bearish weekly fair value gaps formed on SPY since September 2023, and the only one of those was respected. Yes. Do you know why that might be? Okay, let's use SPY as the use case here. I just want to show you that what I'm saying here is not nonsense, okay? Let's come on over to SPY, okay? And we'll come right here too, okay? So you said since 2023, we formed 2 weekly imbalances and only one was respected, okay? So let's think about this. Where were the 2? Let's start off by saying that, okay? This might be one, a little one, and this one didn't respect. Why do we think that didn't respect? If you look at NASDAQ, this is much more clear, but we'll use SPY because that was what was brought up. Okay, see that? Weekly fair value gap. Why was this not respected? Okay, let's go over to April 2024 from a monthly. Okay, what did we get into here in April? Okay, haha, monthly fair value gap. If you don't have the full picture painted, you're missing out, right? This is a monthly imbalance. We're always going to pivot to the higher time frame. Why? Inside of this monthly imbalance, you have 30 days worth of trading that were imbalanced in a given direction, right? That's going to offer you much more versus what you're getting from 1 week, which is 5 days of an imbalance in price, okay? So that would just be your first example. And where's the second one? I'm trying to find the second one. Maybe you're looking at this one here, because this is, you would be right, this is our second imbalance, okay, and we rejected from that point. But guess what? What does this bring you into? Hold on. What did this get you down into? Low. Give me the point. Low. High. Discount retracement. Bullish imbalance. Run for highs. Okay? So, using the principles and concepts learned here, you'll be able to really kind of shush out some of that excess, or I guess see how price is reacting when painting specific levels, right? But the higher time frame is always going to be a hit. Okay, so now I'm looking at the S&P, and actually, hold the phone here. We did take it out. Whoa. Okay, so there's really a discrepancy here between SPY and ES. Okay, now this was really the level that I was referring to as my only one bit of me being skeptical here. Let me pull it up on SPY and see. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you'll see I have a little alert here. Okay, and we didn't quite get here. This is what I was referring to because I was looking at SPY at the moment. But if you look at ES, we actually did sweep that. Yeah, that's pretty damn encouraging. Look at the reaction to these pools of liquidity getting swept. Boom, boom, shoo. Very good. Very positive. Okay. So, with all of that being said, I just want to, come on over to you guys. Are there any other questions here that you guys might have that you'd want me to dive into? I'm more than happy to do so. If not, are there any individual names that you would like to take a peek at, because we could also do that. All right. I don't have any of my transitions or any of that stuff. I'm working on a completely foreign platform here, so we're just trying to make do with what we can. All right. But in short, I really like the low. The most encouraging thing from this point would be the formation of a bullish imbalance here on a daily time frame. Yes, it could happen on the smaller time frame, and this could be used as structure, of course. There was your bullish imbalance formed here on the hourly. Here's your 50% retracement. So as you guys start to send in some requests or maybe questions, I want to look at what we talked about yesterday, because this is phenomenal. Okay, so here's what I had posted in my channel yesterday. I actually posted it on X, or I posted a condensed version on X also. My mic is low. All right, I'm turning it up. You're going to really hear me now. Let me know if it's too loud. Okay, so I'm pulling over here. Okay, so I typed yesterday a few things into tomorrow. TGIF on the menu. Directional week. We'll have a better idea of the range following non-farm payroll tomorrow morning. Currently 20% off of this week's range low. So let's dive into that first. Okay, I turned it up again. I don't think it's getting any higher than this. This is as high as it's gonna go. All right, so, or I'm gonna start shouting. All right, so now from this point, what we talked about with our TGIF, which is a 20 to 30%, at the very least, retracement on that weekly candle. Okay, now check out our weekly range. Okay, from your high down to your low. What was the weekly retracement on this? Okay, we look for this in directional weeks. When we're going in one direction throughout the week, we're anticipating that Friday TGIF to give you a nice little spark. And guess what? Here it is. Okay, we got up to 50% of that range on a weekly bar retracement. So TGIF hit, beautiful. On to the next. Okay, come on over. Here's my next point that I had brought up. More relative equal lows. Despite the nice move Thursday afternoon, there is one more set of lows that is pretty concerning. 19,818 being the lowest. ES quarterly has reached into its bullish imbalance. Now let's come on over here. Okay, that same low that was concerning, 19,818. Look at the reaction to this level. You can't tell me that there's not something to this, guys. It's impossible. Okay, sweep the low and look at the reaction to it. Beautiful. All relative equal lows cleaned up at this point. Very encouraging. Okay, again, what's the missing ingredient? A bearish level burned or a bullish level formed. Haven't done that yet, but when we do, I'll feel even better about us starting to make our way up into here. Okay, last but not least, let's see what the third thing was. I know I had a third. Okay, here. Last, no, oh, wow, I beat myself to it. No daily imbalance suggesting discount yet. Daily range is large with a very high chance of forming a weekly bearish imbalance for the first time, which we did. Although discounted, I have showtime labeled as when the first daily imbalance forms, I will be content looking for a discount of said large daily range. Nothing yet. So until I see that imbalance to the upside here, I do not anticipate anything. But ultimately, I believe that we will paint that imbalance and we will start making our way up here. Okay, but that's just me tying all of what we talked about going into today, what I talked about, and kind of just how it shook out there. So all good, all great, but those are just some things that I wanted to bring up, address, and clean up. I know this is not the most professional live stream that I've done, but we got to just make it work with what we got. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to go into the chat. We'll go look at individual names that you guys had brought up, whatever whatever it is. We will do that, and then we'll be on our way. So first up, let's see. We have Bitcoin for sure. Let's look at Bitcoin, okay? So let's do the same thing we did just previously with Bitcoin. We'll come through each one of our time frames and try and come to a conclusion, okay? So here inside of, really your monthly range is looking more and more like this. Hold on. Okay, good. Right here. Low up to your high. I don't know if anybody else had this, but my trading view levels, they got whacked. I don't know what happened here. But anyways, we have a monthly bullish imbalance in discount of a bullish range. You tell me what happens next, okay? Mando model here on Bitcoin would complete at 109,358.01, okay? We're not creating a monthly imbalance to the downside. We prevented that already. So far, so good, okay? Now let's come on over down to the weekly. Whoops. Okay. Not the prettiest weekly candle I've ever seen, but from your low up to your high, here's your discount retracement. Here's a bullish imbalance. So far, so good. Again, it always comes back to the same thing. A weekly or a bullish imbalance on whatever time frame you're looking for is going to clear up a lot. Now, waiting for that on a weekly, you might miss most of the move. That's the caveat, and that's why when we go down into smaller time frames, of course, that's ideally where we're going to see that imbalance form. But really every move here so far has been makes a good amount of sense to me. Okay, we got that low wick, we got back into this area. What is in this area, you might ask? And I will tell you, we have a high, low, higher high, breakdown and through, and we would anticipate the high or the low of that sequence to act as a support. That is a bearish breaker. Price gets into your breaker and rejects. Okay, that's just so far. Okay, and we rejected it already. So at this point, my expectations for this breaker are much lower. We already got into it here and we rejected. So now from this point, let's come on over to smaller time frames. Okay, and your daily's not painting much of anything. Okay, to me, just looking at it from a daily perspective, it looks to me like 678's we got a date with 78. Okay, sweeping that low into that bullish imbalance. Okay, we got into it, we could not get through a bearish level. Okay, what is that telling us? We can't get through a bearish level on the first attempt. What do we need more of? Liquidity. That would make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so from this point, especially due to the fact that there's a chance, we haven't, nothing confirmed here, 21 hours still left on this candle, but we can form a daily bearish imbalance, which ultimately I would think price would come on down into this area yet again. Okay, from that point, again, looking at it from the higher time frame, okay, we sweep that weekly low, and then to me, blue skies ahead. Okay, no weekly imbalance is a good thing. All right, so that's Bitcoin from a multiple. Yeah, more lick. You got it. Yep. Okay. Now let's keep on coming. Let's see. Rumble. Sure. Let's look at Rumble. Okay. Come on over here. I should short it just because they kicked me out of my damn stream. I feel like I'm completely out of it right now, working with a different platform here, but whatever. All right, here's your low up to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. Ultimately, over the next 23 days, I'd like Rumble to close back above 887. That is a monthly bullish breaker. That would be the most encouraging to me at this point. But if you remember when we traded Rumble last, from your low up to your high, here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance, and then there was your run for highs. So setting up the same thing, we have relative equal highs, 1740 up to 1852. Pretty good. Okay, come on over to the weekly. Okay, from your lows up to your high, you are deep in discount. You are inside a bullish imbalance here on the weekly time frame. The only thing that kind of stinks at this point really is that we have multiple bearish levels that we're going to have to work our way through. Your first being here. That is a bearish fair value gap, and you also have a bearish volume imbalance gap down. Okay, so those are just, to me, the levels to beat. Okay, but from this point, I'd really like to see Rumble start to make some progress here inside this weekly imbalance, ultimately to get back up into this area, in which I would deem showtime. Why is that showtime? This is going to give you a lot of answers. Okay, if price were to get up and through this, to me, we're heading higher. No more imbalances that have been untouched left in this sequence, but a rejection from this point. Do we need to go sweep this low? Do we need to sweep this low, get deeper into the monthly discount? Those are just some questions that I have, but ultimately I do believe that we're going to start to make some progress. Take some time to get up and through this, but I think we will, and I think we'll start making progress higher again on Rumble. So that would be Rumble. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, good. So now, let's keep coming. Let's see what's next. What's next? What's next? NNE, sure. Let's look at NNE. Okay. No problems right now. We got into a bullish volume imbalance. Still fine. Nothing really changing inside of this. No bearish monthly there either. Let me just zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. Nothing really from a monthly suggesting anything different than what it already had. Okay. From your weekly, you have, this will be your third if we can take care of business here. From your low up to your high, discount, bullish imbalance, run for highs. That would be your first completion. Here would be your next low up to your high. Here's your discount retracement. This is an order block, not crazy, but run through highs, Mando model complete, and this is what we're working with now. Low up to your high. Here's the discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. So far, so good. Look left on the weekly. There are no imbalances overhead. All good stuff. Okay, come on over to the daily. Okay, low to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Here's a bullish imbalance. We had some low wicks through, but again, the body's telling you the story. No imbalances overhead yet again. To me, this looks fine. Really, where would this trade go poorly? It would be about 23 bucks. I think that's where it's a failure. We sweep this, and I think we start to make progress down. But at this point, so far, best long year life or the quickest stop out you're going to take. That's the way I look at this. Okay. Overall, pretty good one in my opinion. Okay. So let's see. Let's keep running through these while we can. Okay. Nvidia, sure. So Nvidia is still the biggest question mark for me market wide. Okay. So if we take a look over here at Nvidia, you will notice that our monthly range is enormous, okay? From your lows back in, what is this, 2022, up to the highs set in January of this year, okay? No monthly bearish imbalance, nothing suggesting discount just yet, okay? We filled these imbalances quite a bit, but let's come down to the weekly, see if it gives us any more insight, okay? Your most recent weekly price run looks something like... It really should look like this. Whoops, hold on. From your lows up to, your highs. Okay. We swept liquidity in the inverse direction of the overarching trend and actually performed really well towards the end of the week. Okay. We did gap down into discount of a, higher time frame range. Do we paint the order block and start to make progress to get into this weekly bearish imbalance? If I'm bullish, that's really what I want to see. I really want to see a big, strong weekend in the video going into next. Okay. But ultimately, again, we get up into a bearish imbalance. What happens next? We don't have enough liquidity to get up and through. What do we need more of? Liquidity. There it is. Okay. So I will also say that this to me is just not the prettiest of setups. I personally think that we do go higher here, but it's not something that I'm really banging the table on or anything like that. Nvidia is really the biggest question mark for me right now, just due to the fact that this range is absolutely huge and we got into these imbalances multiple times. If we were to see some sort of higher time frame, monthly retracement on, say, NASDAQ, odds are Nvidia is probably going to be the culprit of why that would have happened. Okay. Nvidia really spurred the entire run, and at this point it's really in a pretty crucial spot. But next week I think could be big. I think if you get a big week next week to get up into this imbalance, you're in really good shape moving forward. But just another name I'm just don't feel as strongly on Nvidia as I would on some of the others. Okay, so that's those three. Good. Toast. Okay, so actually I'm not doing this one. Sorry. I texted this one in the group and only one person got back to me. So you guys got to do that assignment first and then we'll come back to that one. Okay, affirm. Looks pretty good, don't it? Okay, so here was your last Mando model completion from your low up to your high. Here's your discount retracement. Here's your bullish imbalance. There's your run for highs to complete Mando model number one. Okay, here's your next from your low up to your high. We are currently discounted inside a bullish imbalance here on the monthly time frame. So far, so good. This is what we would call a mitigation block. Low, high, higher low, break up and through, high of the sequence being viewed at as a level of support moving forward. Also swept previous monthly low from January. So this looks pretty good from a monthly. Come on over to the weekly. Okay, from your lows up to your highs. Here is your discount. Okay, and so far so good. Sweeping previous liquidity here. Very nice. Okay, ideally next week you start to make progress and ultimately prevent. This might be a big ask, but to prevent a weekly imbalance would be the best in terms of a duration type trade, right? If we're talking like let's just say you wanted to trade something like this and you buy a month on it. If we form that weekly bearish imbalance, this could take time to get through it, okay? So that would be the downfall of it. But preventing that imbalance next week would be really encouraging to get a swift move. And ultimately, just like so many others, this is going to be my showtime imbalance, the final imbalance inside of this. Actually, believe it or not, currently, this is a daily bearish price run. We'll look at it from the daily, but here's what I mean, okay? Whoops, let me clear this out. Okay, here's your daily from your highs down to your low. Okay, no imbalance just yet, suggesting that 50% is coming, but ultimately when that imbalance forms, I would be anticipating price to get up into discount of that bearish range, and more specifically this showtime imbalance. Okay, but good look overall. It's just a matter of timing, or are we going to see this with a strong move next week to prevent that weekly imbalance? Again, it's got to move quite a bit. $9. That $9 move will get you into, say, this imbalance here, which is possible. Had a pretty bad week, huh? Let's see. Yeah, it would just have to ultimately come back into this previous week's range, premium of it. Okay, so that would be a firm, but not a bad look at all. And we did in a video. Okay, DocU is pretty nice. Okay, let's do DocU. I haven't looked at this one in a long time. You might see some colors you haven't seen, or no colors at all because I don't even have it charted. Okay, good. All right, so let's look at DocU. Okay, just right off the bat, like from a higher time frame perspective, I just don't really love this just based on this low that we made. Yeah, you can argue, well, we got down here, we swept this liquidity, and we made some progress. We actually formed an imbalance to create a Mando model in the process. I would agree with you completely. I'm just a little sussed out about that low. Let me zoom in on this, and I'll just show you the Mando model that had previously completed. From your low up to your high, here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. There's your run for highs to complete Mando model number 1. Let's take a look from your lows up to your highs. We did get down into discount. We did get into a bullish imbalance. Are you starting to see a theme of a lot of these names going into next week? A lot of bullish imbalances here on the higher time frame. So this one looks pretty good as well. The lows would just be my one caveat to this, but I would never even let it get down to the lows, right? If I'm mapping this from a monthly perspective, my stop's always at the low of the candle that created it. The imbalance is where I'm looking to get, and then ultimately looking for a run through highs. The next imbalance you have on a monthly time frame is this monthly bearish volume imbalance, which is way, way higher, but so far from a monthly, it looks pretty good. Come on over to the weekly, okay, and similarly, let's look, okay, low, high, discount, bullish imbalance right here. Run through highs, that is the completion of the Mando model. Number 1, low up to your high, no discount, high, discount, bullish imbalance. Did we sweep that low down here? Turtle soup. Bingo. Beautiful. Yeah, this one's pretty good too, man. Nice find. Yep, I like this one too. You got a couple bearish imbalances. Again, that's just a timing thing. We got down into discount. I'm not anticipating these being rejectors by any means, but they could slow price down because we just got down into discount. Okay, so that would be DocU, also another pretty good one, man. All right, let's see. Link. Yep, let's look at Link. All right, I got this one on here. I just want to make sure I have the one I already charted. So, okay, Link from our monthly perspective, okay? So ultimately, if you look at this from a yearly point of view, you have something like this. Low up to your high, deep discount, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. Nice push, okay? You completed 2 mini Mando models in the process. Low high, discount, bullish imbalance, run for highs, and one. Low, high, discount, retracement, bullish imbalance. So far so good. Again, this is on the monthly time frame. Come on over here to your weekly. Low, high, discount, bullish imbalance. Look at the recovery. Look at the sweep of the previous week's low into the bullish breaker. So far so good. Any imbalances overhead? Our next overhead imbalance is at 22 bucks. Okay, so that is link also. Another one looks really good. So you're starting to see the ones that are called out or typed in here in the chat are oftentimes coming from people who are in the group and are learning this way. Okay, J&J, sure, let's go. This is a SRR brings this one up a little bit. Okay, so this one's in a bit of a pickle. Okay, we look at this from a wide lens on the monthly. We've never had that monthly retracement. We have a absolutely massive range, but does that mean that this necessarily needs to go down into discount? I'm not so sure. Okay, we've driven down into a monthly imbalance here, and we responded nicely. Currently shifting smaller time frame structure, looking something like this. Okay, over the next 23 days, are we going to create a monthly bullish imbalance here? That would be the next question. Come on over here to the weekly. Similarly, from your low up to your high, we swept this high right here. That is a shift in market structure bullish. Okay, a weekly close over that level would have been more encouraging. If we can close a weekly above this level, then I would anticipate this acting as a breaker. Low, high, lower low, break up. Are we through? No. If we get up and through, the back tap of that 168.85 would ideally be the area for our next price run higher. The fact that we did not get up and through that, to me, I'm not a fan here because, one, we're in premium of a bullish range, and two, I don't have an imbalance to structure my idea off just yet. So this is one that's kind of in limbo, not really banging the table on either side there. Okay, Netflix holding daily imbalance. Okay, let's look at Netflix. Let's see. Okay, from a monthly perspective, here's Netflix. Whoops, let me fix my range. Low up to your high. We got down into a monthly imbalance, but we did not quite get down into discount. Everything pretty much has a huge range from a monthly perspective. It's okay. We wouldn't really anticipate these monthly imbalances to just cough it up and give it all back in one shot anyways, okay? But now here is Netflix from a weekly perspective. Beautiful. From your lows, go to each one of these highs. Let me just confirm I haven't charted this one in a while. No discount, no discount, no discount. So even on the weekly, believe it or not, Netflix does not have that discount retracement into a bullish imbalance here, okay? Not the end of the world. Still an imbalance. Haven't created a weekly, or have we? We did. Weekly bearish imbalance right there. Okay, very, very small. But again, we have a weekly bullish imbalance here. That's a good thing. We also have that monthly bullish imbalance as well. Come on over here. Okay, your daily looks great. Low up to your high, deep discount, bullish imbalance, excellent. Okay, ultimately, you have structure here. Is this one I would necessarily be banging the table on that I would even trade myself? Not necessarily, no. Doesn't really meet the criteria for any of my trading models. Okay, trading model number one, the Mando model. Do we have a discount retracement into a bullish imbalance? No. Oddnam, did we form and tap back into the first imbalance formed in the opposite direction of our overall trend? We formed it. We didn't get back into it though. So I'm not really looking for this just yet. Okay. So that daily setup looks good, but I personally it doesn't meet the criteria for me to trade something like that. So all right, let's keep going. Run it through. RKT. Okay, so come on. Let me just go back in the chat real quick. One sec. Come on over here. Let's see when we talked about RKT. Where are we? December 31st. Price was at $11.35. I don't really know where it is right now because I took my profits, but RKT, $15.77. What a beauty. Okay. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, bullish breaker, bust, final, or I'm sorry, this isn't really even the final imbalance. You got one more here. Okay, so this would be what I would call a high resistance run for liquidity. I think these can act as speed bumps, but ultimately, I believe Rocket will get up into that 2138. What is the time horizon for that? $1 million question. Okay, here's your current range on RKT. Looks like it's got some space. We are currently, odd NAM has completed, right? First imbalance forms in the inverse direction of your overarching trend weekly. We swept these lows with this price run. Therefore, we have a bearish price run on our weekly. There is your first imbalance formed. There's your discount retracement. Odd NAM complete. Isn't it beautiful that the models that I show you guys are things that are actually applicable and you can like see them in action? Anyways, that is RKT. We are up at 50%. Your next weekly imbalance doesn't come until 1670, which does that 1670? Yep, it gets you into that monthly imbalance. From there, that's showtime. Hands off, but from that point I wouldn't be shocked if we were to retrace a little bit, but otherwise really nice. Anybody who caught RKT with me, good stuff. Okay, let's keep on going. I know Gordo smashed that one. Okay, so let's see. Y'all just picking my losers tonight. Soundhound, sure, let's look at Soundhound. Okay, beauty, low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, bullish breaker as well. So far, so good. Okay, this is my question. Did we sweep this or did we leave it? Low 855, low 849. Good, we swept this. We got into that next monthly imbalance. That's good. Come on over to the weekly. All right. I would have preferred if this week's candle took out last week's low, but that's okay. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. You have a bullish or bearish weekly imbalance at 1192 that's coming up. That would just be my area of concern. Let's see the daily. Let's see if anything's suggesting price to move higher just yet. No, and we left relative equal lows. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, I think ultimately I would like Soundhound there, to be honest, but if we look left, what do we see? Do we see anything that would really justify us rejecting? To me, I think we get up into this weekly bearish imbalance first, then potentially get down, sweep this low, get into this imbalance here. See these relative equals? I don't like that. No imbalance here, catching it. Okay, so I think we can get up into that imbalance. One more time, sweep it, get down into here, which would also sweep that weekly low here and get you into that monthly imbalance here. So that's the way I would look at a Soundhound. But big picture, looks good. Okay. Would be better if they built rockets. Yeah, I know some people fell for it. Biscuits got a lot of people there. Lots of days spent in the fair value gap. I don't know which one that was for. Sorry there, Philippe. We did Netflix. Tesla, sure. Yeah, Tesla also pretty good. Okay, so Tesla, monthly imbalance, monthly bullish breaker. We got 23 days left to close back above 271.81, which I think it will. Again, this could form a monthly bearish imbalance. All that's going to do is just slow price down, but we are discounted inside a bullish imbalance. I like that. That is good. Let's see Tesla weekly. Okay, low up to your high. Discount retracement, bullish imbalance, stop loss at the low of the candle that created the imbalance. That's 238. So far, so good. Ideally, I would like to see a gap up, honestly, to start this week and make progress up into this bearish imbalance, which is back above 300. We got a huge range on Tesla. Huge range on Tesla. Come on over to the daily. Similarly, okay, very small bearish imbalance. But again, what are the two criteria for me to buy into a reversal, if you will, right? Two things that I need to, or one of two things need to happen. We need to see a bearish level mitigated, or we need to see a bullish level formed. If we mitigate this bearish level on the daily, I'm going to start looking for upside to get up into here. That's me, because the monthly and the weekly are both checking out for me. Okay, that would be Tesla. Looks pretty good. Okay, was NNE all good? Starting to make sense. Yeah, it has spent a lot of time in that imbalance. I'll give you that for sure. where we're currently sitting again. It's like literally the last chance for bulls in that scenario, to me at least. Okay, let's see what else we got. LMND, sure. Let's look at lemonade. Okay. All right. So, yeah, just to, be fair about this one, this is just something that I just DCA into. I just buy it every week. So, just to be fair, I want to put that out there. But, so from where I talked about lemonade the first time, I believe it was somewhere around $30. Somebody fact checked me. Go back on my Twitter at Mando Trading, and then just do the $ lemonade, and it'll come up. But anyways, you had your first little model complete here. Here's your next price run here on the monthly. Discount retracement, bullish imbalance, bullish breaker. So far, so good. We actually gapped up to start this. Okay, so we can close this month. If, let's just say we close above, where's the open? 37.24. You close above that, you create a bullish volume imbalance showing you urgency to move higher. That's a good thing. Come on over to the weekly. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. I would have preferred it to create some sort of imbalance up and through, but, not bad so far. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth attempt up at this bearish volume imbalance. You get up and through this, I think you're going back up to 53.85. Maybe that's just me, but lemonade, low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. You have a daily bullish fair value gap. I would have felt better if it just took out this low inside that imbalance at 32.56. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen really, but yeah, you got relative equal highs here on the daily. That gets you up to 41.17 and beyond. So yeah, obviously, just I'm a fan of LMND. That's just me. Okay. Let's go. Let's see. We got a couple more, I believe. Sure thing. We got 2 more. Okay. We got MSTR. Okay. MSTR. Nice. Low, high, discount, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. I don't like these monthly lows. I'll just leave that out there. Does that necessarily mean it's got to come down into here? Not necessarily. Let's see the weekly. We met the discount. So low, high, discount, bullish imbalance. Yeah, I mean, these lows are not like too pretty, but we did close back inside that bullish imbalance. That's a good thing. Okay, and yeah, this looks fine. All right, from the daily. Okay, we lost this. Let me get rid of these. We lost a couple of these daily levels. Again, that's why we got to pivot to the higher time frame. It's going to give you much more context. Okay, but that is a daily bullish fair value gap that we got into and bounced from. So far, so good. Have not created an imbalance, and we actually ran into a bearish imbalance here. Okay, so that is a concern. But big picture, how long we talking? $1 million question. But I think MSTR is going to go way higher. But what happens first? That's always the question. And really nothing from a smaller time frame suggesting that we're going to make our way higher just yet, right? The imbalance is what I'm looking for. If we form a bullish imbalance, I'll be happy with that. For those of you that are bullish. Okay. Rocket Lab. All right, last one. I saw one more. I'll address that other one. Rocket Lab. Okay, discount bullish imbalance. Check. Okay, so would have preferred us to take out this low. Doesn't necessarily have to, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, come to the weekly. I kind of did that fast. Low, high, discount, bullish imbalance, bullish breaker. Okay, so looks fine. Okay, do we see this discount here? Did we get up into this bearish imbalance, melt down, take out this low, and then start to progress? We are in discount, but is it now or is it later? Great question. Okay, no imbalance suggesting higher just yet. Okay, again, that's always the caveat. I'm always looking for a bullish imbalance to, kind of indicate that we're going to go higher. If not, and if we don't end up forming that imbalance and we do make progress to the downside, I'm seeing this, which is kind of ugly. That's at like $14. 1424, that lines up with, that lines up with that volume imbalance. So that's a possibility. But again, we'll just wait for a bullish imbalance to form as always. Last but not least, thoughts on AMC. Okay, so obviously not a fan, but let's just see where we sit from the grand scheme of things. Okay, so AMC, I obviously not a fan for numerous reasons, but the real reason I don't like it at all is because we had a split. I'm not sure if you had multiple or you just had one, but splits are no good. That throws off all of the price, right? So from this point, I'm not really liking AMC at all here. I mean, at most that's a bearish imbalance at 377. But yeah, I'm not a fan of AMC here. Yeah, it's pretty dead. It's pretty dead. So, yeah, I think that's all. Let's just zoom this and let's see. The problem I have in, oh, okay, I see it now. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, all right. Well, I think that's all I got for now. If anybody has any more questions or anything like that, obviously shoot me a DM on Discord. I don't really look at the Twitter DMs anymore, so wouldn't send it there. But wow, they got some pretty. I'm not gonna lie, YouTube's got some pretty cool features here that I'm messing with. But yeah, I'll be back on Rumble if they get their stuff together and fix it. So, but with all of that, again, anybody who stuck around after the first stream crashed, appreciate it as always. Hopefully it was insightful. And yeah, I will catch everybody next time.